Hello and welcome to the White Rabbit YouTube channel. Sorry for the 7-minute delay. I could not connect to the internet. And then I couldn't find how to get back into the YouTube thing. So it's all good now. Happy. All right. So the continent of Mu, the predecessor of Atlantis. Here and here. So some people ask me what happened to Mu Part 2 because that was supposed to be posted right now. Yeah, due to some unforeseen circumstances, the editor that was almost done doing it got a fever and he is unable to work. So therefore, I had to do the last minute live instead of a last minute posting of episode 2 because it was just about done. And then he got sick like a few days ago. And I was hoping it could still get done, but there's no chance it's going to get done. So there goes my plan of posting episode 1, 2, 3, 4. So after that, I was planning on posting 1 and 2, then doing it live, and doing 3 and 4, and doing it live. But now my plan is I'll do this live, and then the next episode will be, I wrote it down. It's a big title. It's called Ancient Egypt's Modern Tech, Reincarnated Egyptian Priestess from 3,000 years ago. 3,000 years ago is not in the title, but it helps to know. And then I'll have a live for that one. And then in 3 weeks' time, I'll have episode 3, 4, and episode 2, 3, and 4 consecutively. And that will give me time to work on a bigger episode. Hopefully, that's the plan anyway. If I have time, I'll do the Inner Earth episode, which is a very big topic with a lot of stuff in there. If not, I got a few ideas for making a shorter episode, such as the prison planet theory, where basically all humans' lives get recycled by the energy. So it's like I got a message from Jimmy Frags. Hi there. Hello, Jimmy Frags, and welcome. All right, and then so the prison planet is basically all humans. Energy is being used by aliens that are on the moon, and when we die, our souls go to this transition place, basically the place where you see the white tunnel, and the energies that meet your soul at the white tunnel, they basically tell you to turn around and go back to Earth and live a new life. But if you turn around independently, you can get out of the cycle of reincarnation because they're just using the energies. Anyway, it's a little bit complicated, but basically, yeah, prison planet. And also, I'd be interested in doing a Dogman episode, the one that I mentioned in the Piri Reis map. I have a lot of pictures of Dogmen from years of collecting. All right, let's see. So let's review part 1. We have the sunken land masses around the known world. Like, let's see again. There's Mu, Atlantis, Doggerland, and High Brazil, Lemuria, Mu, Sanikov land, Zealandia, and Sandy Island, which is a tiny little question mark there because it was there and it wasn't there. Anyway. Then we've got the Anunnaki who came to the Iraq area here, and they basically brought their, I think they're called the Igigi, to mine gold, but then eventually they got spread out over the world and they they genetically engineered humans to be the miners of the gold. And then Göbekli Tepe, which interestingly has stopped its excavations. It's a conspiracy. The Age of Mu, so the Mu, not the Muians, the Nacaals, they basically had the satellite settlements in Tartaria, in Peru, in Olmec territory, Mexico, even up to the plains of America, and also Nan-Madal and the other capital cities of the continent of Mu. There was a pole shift, and that kind of screwed everything up. And then the continent of Mu fragmented into the large-scale archipelago that I've mentioned many, many times. Anyway, and then after the continent fragmented, some stayed and some left, and the ones that left, they went to their pre-existing settlements, such as in the Norte Chico in Peru, the Olmecs in Mesoamerica, the Aboriginal tribes of like California area, Tartaria, Australia, New Zealand, and all scattered all around, even Taiwan and Japan. And then the pyramids of Mu that were built as repositories of knowledge all over the world and all their satellite settlements with slight design variations, but they all serve the same purpose to preserve knowledge and technology for future generations. But of course, the CIA and other big governments of the world already got that information, and they're not going to share it with us. Although little bits slip out here and there, and we get some information like the astral projection program, how you can train yourself to like leave your body and see places. And anyway, it was recently declassified by the CIA. I've mentioned it a little bit, but I would love to do a full episode about that. But anyway, then the pyramids were also the energy stations, same like in the Bosnia pyramids and Egypt. Just recently, China, using their spy technology satellites, were detected some strange energies above the Giza pyramids. Anyway, that's one thing. Future cataclysms. Oh, well. Chan Thomas's pole shift from the Adam and Eve story, The History of Cataclysms by Chan Thomas. Someone mentioned that I did not include the link in the description like I said I did, so I will do that. Sorry. And then the Younger Dryas, which was like another cataclysm, basically a comet hit up here, the Laurentian basin, and all the ice, flooded and destroyed everything. And then the Anunnaki returned 6,000 years later to give the gift of agriculture to the inhabitants of, Babylon, Iraq area, so that when they did return in the future, they multiply faster because they can have agriculture as every civilization did, and they'll be of more use to them to mine for gold upon their future return. And then we finished with the Great Flood. Anyway, so that's the recap. Someone asked me why I decided to make the Continent of Mu episode. It's similar to the reason why I made this map. So some of you know, I'll say it again. So basically, I was telling someone about conspiracy theories, and they had no idea what it was. I just said, do you know that some people believe that we have not been to the moon? And he's like, no, we've been to the moon. I'm like, yes, but some people believe that we haven't, and some people believe that we have, and that's a conspiracy theory. And as an example, I was just going to Google conspiracy theory map of the world to give him an idea of how many conspiracies are around the world. And I couldn't find anything. And so I decided to make it myself as just a fun project to do. And it turned into this many years later. So for the Continent of Mu, the same thing happened. Good night to you too. So for the Continent of Mu, the same thing happened. A lot of people talk about James Churchward that discovered the Muin tablets in a temple in India, and he was taught the language and deciphered it, and then wrote some books about it. And then Le Plongeon, who was an archaeologist in Mesoamerica, and his findings said that the the Maya came from elsewhere and they're connected to Egypt, but basically he says that their origin was also the continent of Mu. Uh, but no one talks about modern day Mu and the fragmentation of Mu. So I wanted to do an episode that covers everything. And actually, I started this episode before I even started the channel over a year ago. And it took me months of writing and months of filming. And but because the episode was so long, 1.5 hours, uh, I got a comment. Your pen is broken. My pen is not broken. It's right here. Strange comment. Anyhow, so so because it was so long, I just always put it on the back burner and kept working on the most current thing. And whenever I finished that project and I was waiting for someone else to do something, then I would work on Mu. But now I'm dedicated to finishing Mu. And Mu has been finished, but then there was an incident and I had to do everything again. I mean, all the images, not the filming. But I took this as an opportunity to make everything better, and I did. And it's going to be even better than it was supposed to have been. Because a lot of it was like I made the images like a year ago. And the way I do it now, I change the images more often to keep people interested. Hello, yes. I see your pen is not broken. Yes. Thank you, Rob F. All right. One thing when researching the continent of Mu, basically every single island in Oceania, Melanesia, Polynesia, Micronesia. Basically, you have to Google everything. Like, of course, there's a lot of stuff that I already know, but I basically Google like Tahiti, for example. So I'll do Tahiti Giants, and then it'll be a sports team that comes up and takes up everything, and it'll be Tahiti alien, and it'll be like an invasive species in the waters around. And if I do Tahiti UFO, then it's a bag of chips, and every picture is a bag of chips. So then I have to change my thinking and type in ancient giants or legends of giants and myths and get the information I need. But I had to do that for every single island to make sure I didn't miss anything. And you can let me know when it's done if I did miss something. Like, I know that I didn't talk. There's some things I said like I didn't. I'm going to tell this story in a future episode, like the giants in Hawaii and in Fiji. Yeah, Fiji. But that's part 2. You don't know about that yet. And then also modern Mu has a lot of things that, well, you can see by the map. There's all megaliths and anomalies and giants, radiation. There's a portal in Hawaii. It's a really small portal because it was like original before I made it more mainstream. Anyhow, so I decided to make the continent of Mu episode have like a one-stop shop for everything Mu. You watch this episode, you can learn from the beginning of time with 450,000 years ago, when the arrival of the Anunnaki, the Toba supervolcano 70,000 years ago, the age of Mu, and then it also when the continent fragmented. It was maybe I skipped this part. So the continent of Mu, they can live for thousands of years. They're ancient beings, they're aliens, they're giants. And the younger generation, let's call them the teenagers, but they're still hundreds of years old. They got tired of listening to the ancients, so they packed up everything they needed, similar to like someone running away from home, but you've got like a lot of them. And so they had all the technology and whatever they needed to continue the megalithic building projects and stuff like that. And then they took something like Vimanas and flew up into the air, and they were on their way to their new destination. And that's when the pole shift happened. So they were safe from the turmoil of the earth, spinning and the oceans rising and the continents changing. And then after everything settled down, then a new continent had arisen in the middle of the Atlantic, which is right here, or it could have been right here, or it could have been right here. And some say it was Antarctica. But anyway, wherever it was, that's where they landed and they started their new civilization. And as the rest of the world was like, mostly destroyed, and so they were quite lucky to be able to, have everything they need and not have to rely on the motherland of Mu. And yeah, so that's that. So then I decided, well, I was convinced to cut the 1.5 cut the 1.5 hour episode into 4 parts. And so the first part is about, I think it's 20 minutes. Second part is 30 minutes. Then it's 20 minutes. Then it's 15 minutes. All right. Also, since I have to redo part 2 of Move, so anyway, it's in the works again. I have some on location Peru footage that will be added to part 2, which is always fun. And if you have any on location conspiracy or megalithic video footage, you can send it to me and I might include it in a future video. And I would greatly appreciate it and mention you in the live. All right, on to the comments. I have one right here. It says, "Can't wait to watch the Moo video when it's released. Thank you, Jimmy Frags." I was disappointed that I couldn't share it with you today, but as I said, it'll be even better now. All right. So I got a comment from Teacher Charles TV. "I have been looking forward to this." Actually, Charles is a fellow conspiracy theorist, and he has like a Facebook channel where he shares a lot of interesting info. And if you want to find out about that, I'll post a link on my Facebook channel, which is the White Rabbit 4090, and you can check it out yourself. A lot of interesting things there. Ava Gold 2309, she wrote, "Another excellent video and well researched. My favorite part is the maps." And there are a lot more maps in the upcoming segments, part 2, 3, and 4. All right, this is a really long comment, so bear with me. It's quite interesting though. M1D, that's his name or her name. "Wow, oh wait. Anyway, I think that's not the same person. No, this is short one. Okay, M1D. "Wow, an alternate history of the world. Pole shifts, global resets, and floods. I'm looking forward to part 2. Me too. Me too, M1D. All right, now here's the long comment that is very interesting from Alex Francois 5851. "Excellent work. Looking forward to the next installment. Great Reset 2030 is coming soon. There is a way to bypass the reset that none of our predecessors achieved. We are running out of time, but a sliver of hope remains." Sounds like the beginning of a movie. I replied, "I don't know about 2030, but it's definitely coming. One way to escape is to reach the 5th dimension. Easier said than done, but still possible." So the 5th dimension is like another plane of existence that your consciousness can reach to if you are spiritually awakened. And but it doesn't matter if only you are spiritually awakened and can reach the 5th dimension. It has to be a large swath of the population, as he will soon state. And then he replied, "You are a very smart young man. Yes, that is the only way to bypass it. There are those who believe they can achieve a manual bypass by reducing the population in advance of the reset, and they are actively working to achieve this goal. Their theory is based on the fact that the most recent reset was not built into the system. It was triggered manually, and they are trying to reverse engineer the process. All resets prior to the last one were system resets because the players, Earthlings, had run out of time to achieve a frequency shift. The most recent one was triggered by technological warfare. The upcoming one is hard coded into the system and can only be bypassed by a frequency shift, which, as you mentioned, is easier said than done. But Team Earth has many heavy hitters playing on the team, so there is a chance. That is his comment. And I did reply with a lengthy reply, but if you want to see it, you can go to the Continent of Mu, Predecessor of Atlantis, Part 1 episode. Go to the comments and you can see it there. It's a very smart answer. All right. So that's about it for Part 1 of the Continent of Mu. So I'm going to post the Egypt episode tonight so that you can see it on next Sunday. And then I'll have a live for that one. And then will be the Continent of Mu part 2, 3, and 4. I'm really looking forward for Mu to be out there and share it with the world. So, as always, uncovering the truth, one conspiracy at a time. See you next week on the White Rabbit YouTube channel. Have a good one too, Jimmy Frags.